Hola, cage fighting connoisseurs. This is KidNativeBloodyElbow.com, joined once again by the one, the only, the ineffable, the ineluctable, the inevitable, Eugene S. Robinson. He didn't bring his pussy today because he's in the gym. Eugene, author of Fight, everything you ever want to know about fighting, but didn't blah, blah, blah. He's wearing a shirt.
I'm wearing a shirt. Proud sponsor of my portion of this segment, Empire and Aces, whatever. Somebody sent me a semen-free shirt, so I'm glad to wear semen-free shirts.
Excellent, excellent. I'm a big believer in semen-free shirts myself. I'll bring my own. Thanks.
Yeah, you'll bring your own semen-free shirts or your semen shirts, whatever. Okay.
If my shirts need seminating, I got it covered. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't say that. That's disgusting.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
We are here for the infamous and patented Care Don't Care preview of UFC Monterrey, a.k.a. UFC Gastelum versus Magny, a.k.a. UFC Ultimate Fighter Latin America 2 finale. It's so big, I'm choking on it, Eugene. This show is so big, we're not even going to run this on Bloody Elbow until tomorrow. We're just filming it now because it was convenient for me. But disclaimer,
for all you crybabies and bedwetters who might have your bottoms hurt as a result of being mentioned in the Don't Care column. This has less to do with your power and skill as a fighter and much more to do with the marketing heft and weight that your parent organization has decided to put behind you or not put behind you. So you want to fight an interesting fight, exciting fight, move from Don't Care to Care like Alex Oliveira or Paul Felder or Chris Collier Greens or Collier Chris Greens or Clay Collier Chris Greens or whatever his name is, then do so. We're glad to have you move from Don't Care to Care, but don't take it personally, crybabies and bedwetters.
There, beautiful, beautifully said. And what about this card?
Well, first of all, I think like Ann Landers or Dear Abby said, we must give ourselves 100 lashes with a wet noodle. Where is he? Marty Galinsky here came in. The first thing when I came in Sunday, he was like, MMA Journalist of the Year. And I'm so used to hearing that with my name. I just got to go, oh, thank you. The guy who said, don't even watch Ronda and Holly, here he is, ladies and gentlemen, who said it was worth $2. Here he is. And I don't remember getting much disagreement from you, so I'm going to include you in that.
Me? I said it was worth $35.
And then when I said 2, you said okay.
Well, I mean, I know I'm not going to talk any sense into you, so why fight a losing battle?
Well, I stand corrected. And shock of wonders of Goshen. I did not make this out to be a work either. I said there were some curious butts.
Admirable restraint, by the way. Yeah. I was watching that show, biting my nails.
You thought you couldn't tell it to the end, right?
I mean, I had a feeling you weren't going to go, full crazy, but.
No, man, I just, I'm going with eyes and vibe. And the eyes and the vibe told me.
Is that a Nazi we haven't heard of, eyes and vibe?
Well, close. Eisen is ice, Eisen vibe. Close. That could be something. They make up these words like Volgaya, which means like fuck yeah.
Well, guile means horny, right? But they use it as sort of an expletive for anything that's awesome.
Yeah, sort of. So like fuck yeah.
Yeah, guile.
Like pinchy cabron.
I know what that means. It's fighting words, Eugene. Fighting words.
Anyway, so I stand corrected. You got to know, if I said the Beastie Boys would never make it, if I said the Butthole Surfers would never make it, if I said Suicidal Tendencies wouldn't make it, if I said that Barack Obama wouldn't make it, sometimes when I say don't watch a fight, you got to do the exact opposite.
Yeah.
King Crusher Sorrell was like standing right here texting me.
Is he the one ringing a bell? Like, I thought maybe somebody, had
Yeah, that was, you can't see it.
He's lighting up your texting, huh?
No, that's my credit card.
Fortunately, the image was...
He's texting me feverishly, you suck. He's been doing what my mother does, and he's been following me around the whole session today, telling me how much I suck.
I see. Well, you got to kick him out when he's down, Eugene, or he'll never...
Yeah, right. That's what
might not get a chance to kick him again. That's the
gold and silver medal say. Yeah, that's how you qualify. Yeah, he's doing it again.
If you can watch his match.
All right. Okay. Thank you. They all know I suck. Thank you.
All right. Let's dive right into it. This is happening Saturday night live from Monterrey, Mexico. I didn't watch any of the Ultimate Fighter Latin America Part 2. I've got to say, I've been impressed with some of the guys. Well, one of the dudes off Latin America Part 1, I can't remember his name, but he's awesome. The guy that does all the karate and crazy kicks, capoeira. And
I know who you're talking about, the guy with the crazy haircut.
Yes. But it all just bleeds past. I mean, I'm still reeling from Rousey home, honestly. I spent hours watching fan-made videos mocking Ronda Rousey last night, just as a journalist, just to see what was being said, not to participate.
Well, hold on. Was it Felice Herrera at some point put this impassioned plea? Said, she's kind of coming across like Sister Mary Elephant. Class, please, do not abuse Ronda. She's a champion. And you know what? And I have an expression for her that might help her understand exactly what's happening. It's called sow the wind, reap the whirlwind.
Exactly.
I mean, like, I don't remember people doing this when Boris Griffin lost. I mean, there was some amusement because he opened himself up by fleeing from the ring, but
crying in the cage.
In the absence of that, okay, think about Rich Franklin getting beaten by Anderson Silva, not once but twice. People weren't mocking him. You'll respect an honest loss, but it's, do you honestly tell me if you think it would have been different had she touched gloves with her in the beginning?
Well, it would have helped a little bit. I mean, people would have been less irate if she hadn't gone on the Jimmy Fallon show in a ghastly, fucking awful dress. Did you see the dress that?
Yeah, somebody said that who was it who was saying that we should do like a gay MMA fashion show where we just talk about nothing connected to the fights, but just about fighters' fashion choices?
Yes, that would. I mean, I'm not even qualified remotely to talk about that.
I am. I used to be editor-in-chief of a men's fashion magazine.
Well, and we've seen your ties and suits. Me, I wear a lot of T-shirts, but she came out on the Jimmy Fallon show and diagnosed exactly what was going to happen in the fight. Well, and then went out and played right into the hands of that. I mean, there was just so much hubris and setting ourselves up for a fall here. It was, You know what? This goes back to what we've talked about, practice athletes, right? And and I could see this in the guys who spend a lot of time sparring, which like somebody like Robbie Lawler goes, I never spar, or you can see it with guys who are fighting. But Lawler's done a decade worth of sparring with some really bad dudes. Right.
Well, or you see it sometimes where people will like fight somebody that they are known associates with. You can't help it. You can't help it. If you know the guy, you know the guy's parents, your mother, whatever. You're just not gonna be digging the knuckle in the eye. You're not a rare
unless
person.
You know him really, really well.
Yeah.
And then you might be.
Then it's like brothers.
Yeah.
Fight to the death, but it's a completely different thing. But no. I mean this is disrespect begets disrespect, man.
Yep. And Ronda did plenty of that. So we're all kicking her while she's down because, like I said, we don't know when she might get up and start kicking our asses again.
Yeah, because you couldn't do it before because you'd open yourself up to the accusation that, you're just doing that. You're just jealous because she's successful.
Yes. We had to wait for her to fall to pile on. It's the American way. The American way. But I promise we weren't even going to say the words Honda Housey on this episode. I mean, to myself at least. So let's get into what everybody wants to talk about.
Actually, I have one procedural question for you. How come we have over 7,000 views on Knuckle Up? Is that a mistake? What happened?
No, it's the Honda Housey thing, man. You're riding the wave.
Okay.
Did you see we also had like 100,000 views of 6th round. Like.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah. See, you got to open up that narcissistic, myopic.
I thought they just got it wrong. It was like 77.
No, we also stopped using the Ulala viewer on the Bloody Elbow post. So there's still some Ulala views there, but it's all on YouTube. All in on YouTube, baby. We take you back, Google, even though you just screwed me yesterday. We love you. We love you, baby.
Okay.
And we're working with Google. Anyway, let's talk to what people are dying to talk about, which is this Gastelum versus Magny card in Monterrey, Mexico. I was about to make some tasteless jokes about narco cartels hanging people off overpasses, but I'm not even going to go there, Eugene. That would be.
Dr. Gene Scott credited the trouble in the Middle East. He said, if you read Josephus, you'll see that at the junction of the Tigris-Euphrates rivers, You have a portion of the third of heaven of the rebel angels that were kicked out, chained at the juncture of the Tigris Euphrates River, exerting demonic influence through the region. And I started to think, okay, for a sec, if I'm willing to buy Dr. Gene Scott, Stanford PhD student, that they're demons chained up at the juncture of the Tigris
It sounds reasonable to me. Pretty
How do you explain what's going on in Mexico? That I don't know.
Well, William Burroughs, and you've constantly discrediting everything I quote from William Burroughs, but
no, I haven't.
Yeah, well, you didn't like my Nazi occult thing that I got from William Burroughs.
What was that?
That was his claim that one of the SS's secret occult rituals was to have an aspiring officer candidate raise a kitten from birth.
That was bullshit.
Well, I don't know. Anyway, but Burroughs, he was a big student of the Maya and the Aztec, the
letters and all that stuff.
Yeah, the hieroglyphics and everything. He felt America was haunted long before even the Native Americans came here, that it was a haunted place, bad mojo, just in the ground. And, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But, what's going on in Mexico is our thirst for cocaine has poured so much money in guns, it's totally thrown their economy out of whack, and bad things happen.
Yeah,
anyway,
I used to have an FFL, right? You know this?
What's FFL?
It's the Federal Firearms License.
Nationwide.
I kept in assiduous records because I fully expected it to happen, and I didn't know when it was going to happen, but I knew it would happen. Eventually, I got a call from the BATF. I said yes, and they said one of the guns that you've sold has been used in the commissioning of a crime. Can you tell me? And they gave me the serial number. Who was the last person you sold a gun to? And I knew without looking who it was. So as a courtesy, I called the guy up and said, hey, man, could you call me back? I don't want to leave a message. And he shined me. He didn't call me back. And they called me again the next day. And I fucking informed on him. I said, this is the last guy I sold it to. And they were like, thank you. And they went off. And I never heard about it again. But then I called back just to make sure, because you're supposed to keep records for 7 years. It was like 10 years after. I wanted to get rid of the records. And I asked him what happened. He goes, oh, it was used in a crime south of the border. And so I was like, oh, I see.
Operation Fast and Furious.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. But
so how'd you know which guy it was? Like what?
You just know, man. I'll give you an example. It was a Czech 9mm, right? And I mean, a gun that retailed for $75. I think it was a CZ75, right? And this guy buys one. I can understand buying one. You want a Czech gun? Who's had a Czech gun? With Egyptian ammo. And then he buys a second one. I go, man, you must really like that gun. And then he buys a third. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. What are you doing? He goes, well, and I can't sell to a guy who I know is reselling. And apparently he took one of the guys I sold the gun to. This is great. Breaks the gun because he's at home dry firing it at home, right? Dry firing. You break the pin, you have to take it in to get it fixed. And the guy who's a gunsmith says, you're all right. He says, you're better off just junking it and getting a new. He goes, what are you talking about? He goes, it's going to cost more to fix it than you paid for it. He goes, I paid $400 for it. And then the guy starts laughing and says, this gun is worth not even $100. What are you, crazy? So that guy goes back to the crook guy and says, I'm going to tell everybody you're selling. And that guy calls me up and goes, you got to handle this. Jake is talking crazy. You got to fix him. And I was like, hey. You handle your own murder for hire, please. I got it on record that I sold it to you. That's all I know. And I'm cutting you off. So that was that.
I see. An inspiring tale of responsible gun dealer in Eugene. I've got to give that the same amount. I had no idea you were a weapons dealer. How did we miss this?
You dig long enough from the pornography to the weapons dealing, and it's all there.
It's all there. Well, beautiful. Let's dive into this UFC Monterrey card that we just cannot wait to tear into. There's 3 fights on Fight Pass. Again, this is happening Saturday night live from Monterrey, Mexico. First up, welterweight Vernon Ramos versus Alvaro Herrera.
Why do you make me go first on this? Because I seem like a nattering nabob of negativity, and I'm going to say I don't care.
I don't care either, and if I could say it in Spanish, I'd say it like that for local flavor.
Hey, man, how do you say I don't care in Spanish? No me importa. No me what? No me importa.
No me importa. Oh, that's all right. All right. I might even say no gusta. Ask him if I could say no gusta.
Can he say no gusta?
That's what I don't like.
Yeah, I know. He said you could say that. I don't like
All
it.
right, good, good. Well, I do know a little Spanish then. All right, welterweight Erik Montano versus Enrique Marin, and I don't care about the first fight either. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, okay. I don't care about that one either.
No, me neither. All right, and lightweight Valmar Lazaro versus Michel Prazeres.
You know, I like the name, but I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care either. So sorry, guys. All right, and that brings us to the first part of the Fox Sports 1 card. We got 4 fights on the Fox Sports 1 prelims and 4 fights on the Fox Sports 1 main card. So hopefully it'll be shorter than some of the murderously long Fox Sports 1 cards we've dealt with in the past. All right, featherweight Gabriel Benitez versus Andre Fili.
Okay, all right, here we go. All right, I care.
I care because of Fili?
You feel it, yeah.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Do you have a pick?
Feel it, man. My ass is still hurting after last week. You realize I was under 500 for last week, but I'm going to pick.
I wasn't going to say anything, but
no, it has to be because I'm not. I'm on the Titanic. If the guys who are not on the Titanic who have the lifeboats, they're few and far between. Who said that Holly was going to win? Who said that? Not many. A few. Not many.
Not many. Not many. People outlined how she could win,
Correct.
but those of us who saw it didn't have the faith in her to.
Well, I'm still going to defend my pick because that last fight that she had against, who was it, Letourneau? She just stunk up the fucking joint. That was terrible, and I was basing my take on that. So, but she's an elite athlete, and since then, you go back to the drawing board, you fix things. And if you're educable and top flight, you fix things and it works. And this is why I think I'm heeding the call for Ronda to get a better team, because I feel fairly certain that 6 months with the same team is not going to yield a remarkably different fucking result because they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
No, it's not going to do her any favors. It was Marion Renault that Holly Holm barely squeaked by before that. And then she had a split decision against Raquel Pennington before that. And so
terrible in both of those fights. Terrible.
Yeah, and her fights at before she got in the UFC, it was a very mixed bag. I mean, she got a few knockouts against some complete, just obvious building opponents, like people who are just my name is opponent. I'm not, and then her 2 fights in the UFC, she just looked like shit. I mean, so
I completely defend my choice based on that alone.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to call it right now. She's not holding that belt for long if they take Cyborg seriously.
Cyborg will, take that belt with a quickness. And I think we're all lucky we didn't see Rousey go in against Cyborg, because that would have been just,
Well, they had some foresight on that one.
Yeah.
Fucking with that fight in as many ways as possible to keep it from happening.
Yeah.
I don't think that fight's going to happen now, even though Ronda has 2 paths to go by, like Zeppelin says, but either one of those paths for her are not ideal. She's got to go back to Holly, or she's got to do something else. I bet she wishes they hadn't delegitimized Miesha Tate now. I bet you wish that,
Yeah. Well, a lot of mistakes were made. But anyway, File's coming off a loss to Godofredo Pepe, but I don't know anything about Gabriel Benitez, so we'll see. But File's fun to watch. And he's a young kid, so, All right, now we've got somebody I know you'll care about. Bantamweights Alejandro Perez and Scott Jorgensen.
Yep, I care.
I care too, although I'm worried that Scott Jorgensen.
Yeah, I've been burned I've been burned by the jerk before, man.
Yeah, well, he's lost. He's won 2 out of his last 9 fights. So it's he hasn't put a 2-fight win streak together since 2011.
Yeah, so I'm not picking him. I
No.
care about the fight, but I just can't pick him.
Yeah, no, I can't pick him either. And in fact,
who's the opponent again? I'm sorry.
Alejandro Perez.
Yeah, okay.
So all right. So that brings us.
This is a regional, what we could call an RG, a regional gimme.
Quite possibly. Yeah, they're sending Scott down to get beat up in front of the Monterrey crowd by a local, which is that's the fight game. It's a fight thing. If you manage a fighter, sometimes you're going to send him off to be fed to the lions, and it's so. Anyway, welterweight Hector Urbina versus Bartosz Fabinski. Speaking of regional fighter being shipped to Mexico to.
I mean, I actually care about this. I know these guys, but I don't care enough to make a pick. It's one of those purgatorial places, you know. I mean, in other words, I will not go to the toilet when they're fighting, but I'm not going to make a pick here.
No, I'm not going to pretend to have any insight into how this fight is going to come out, but I feel like they're flying this Polish kid in all the way to Monterrey, not because they're hoping to ignite a fervor of Polish fans in Mexico, but because they're throwing the kid to the lions. So anyway, now we've got welterweight.
And also, I hesitate to make a pick because I got pasted because of the Piotr Hallman one. You know, he got murked, and so I can't pick.
I didn't know you were capable of gun shyness.
Nah, it's just I mean, it's just a bad way to bet. You know, I mean, this is why 49ers fans are like crying. You know, my team, right or wrong. Hey, man, you got to get off that horse when it's dying. You know.
Yep. It's don't even start me on the 49ers. Anyway, back in my day, they had a little thing called Joe Montana. All right.
That was my day too. I like Joe.
I like Joe. Joe was
a regional guy. I didn't hear many bad things about Joe.
No. He's
about him. Like that.
And Roger Craig. I mean, the whole crew. And who was the
about Roger Craig? But it's stuff that's defensible. You know, these guys are young guys. You know.
Yeah. And who was the defensive back that was the enforcer on that team? I can't remember, but he was.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I'm out of my depth here with football, man. I'm just make up names.
Yeah, it's been 20 years.
Everybody remembers Eddie Giacomin, the tight end for the. Oh, I'm sorry, he was a hockey goalie.
I mean, there were guys. All right, so bantamweight, Erik Perez versus Taylor Lapilus.
I don't give a shit.
I care about Erik Perez because they keep trying to hype him up.
They do, but I'm not buying it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. He hasn't, but he's a youngster. He's a youngster, and he's 4-2 in his UFC career. He's just 1-2 in his last 3 fights. So we'll see. I don't know. He's young. He probably can get this one. All right, now we're moving on to the big leagues.
Care on your part, but okay.
All right, yeah, it's all right. Lightweight, Efrain Escudero, who coached this season against Leandro Silva.
Yes, I care.
Yes, because
mostly because in this case because of Escudero, but he's a gift for me.
It's totally totes, as I would say on Facebook.
right. So.
Efrain, I saw him get ragdolled by Charles Oliveira live in Austin, Texas, many years ago, and I don't think he's prodigal son his way back to the UFC, so good for him there. But whatever. All right, so flyweight.
So who's the opponent? I'm feeling okay with Leandro Silva.
Leandro Silva, I'm not going to make a pick here. I don't think there's.
I'm picking Silva.
You're picking Silva?
I still need to recoup from last week. So.
Yeah, I mean he's basically on a 3-fight winning streak. Although one of those was a drug test, no contest that got overturned.
Take it, hey, it's not my fault. Nobody else shows up for me when I win the gold.
Hey, what are you gonna do? Hands were tied, Eugene.
Yeah, it's me against the scale, me versus me. Toughest contest ever.
Exactly. All right, so. I guess I'll pick Silva too. All right, so now we got flyweight. This is an interesting one. To me, this is the biggest fight on the card. Flyweight, Jussier Formiga against Henry Cejudo, former Olympic gold medalist.
Yep. Big care, and I've hesitated with Cejudo, but I'm all right.
This is a stylistic matchup he almost cannot lose. I mean, you got a supremely gifted wrestler with some okay boxing against a guy who's mainly a submission guy. Although Formiga's looked better, he's also known as Da Silva. He's looked better recently. I
like them both, but I've been slow to get on the Cejudo thing, and of course, I think now I'm going to pull a trigger on him. But you know what that means?
It could be the time to bet against him.
If you were about to put it down for Cejudo, you should have some pause that Eugene picks Cejudo. You go, oh, wait a minute.
yeah. The mojo is getting gnarly when Eugene's piling on to a guy some have called a gict.
Yeah, well, Cejudo, I don't know.
You can't trust him to make weight.
Yeah, that much is true. But that just means, he's in the rumble zone. Maybe he's getting older, can't do the things he used to do. He needs to adjust. But I'm still looking at his fights like this. Ding, 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 ding. I'm charting him this way versus flat line or, any kind of other waveform,
Yeah, I mean, I could see where De Silva could win this if Cejudo doesn't come in at the top of his game, but Cejudo is one of the few guys in that division that I see ever having the potential to knock off Mighty Mouse. So I'm all in with Henry. So
Okay.
we'll see. We'll see if that comes back to burn us. All right, and now, if you thought that was big time, wait for this. Featherweight Ricardo Lamas versus Diego Sanchez, formerly known as the Nightmare.
Yeah. I care about that, and Lamas, his work on Dynasty was just, I mean, that's enough. That's
That was Lorenzo.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And was it really Dynasty?
I just
Falcon Crest.
Falcon Crest. There you go. I don't know, but that's enough for me to care. No, I care about this.
He also features in "You'll Never Make Love in This Town Again," the Heidi Fleiss memoirs. Although Heidi Fleiss wasn't connected to it. Did you know that Lorenzo Lamas is in there?
I was at a party with Heidi Fleiss once.
Oh yeah, were you paid? Were you on her string?
No, it was some hustler party I was at. I have to say, I don't want to pile on here, but I guess at this point nobody cares. But she was terrible looking.
Terrible looking or terrible?
I can't vouch for how terrible she was as a human being, but she looked bad.
I see, like she smoked a lot of crack.
But yeah, like this, like if you were looking for a whore, she's the last person you would go to ask for help finding a whore. I'm going with the birds of a feather theory here, man. If they look anything, just because I look this way doesn't mean I'm not a good judge of talent. Whatever,
Yeah. Well, did you see the Heidi Fleiss documentary back in the day?
No, I did not.
Do you remember there was this woman, Madam Alex, who was the big Hollywood madam before Heidi, and she was like elderly and obese and bedbound. So I don't think madams like necessarily. You can't judge a madam. I mean,
well, there's a friend of mine who used to run this company called Body Miracle. This guy's name was Robert, and he was the one who would set up these speaking things for the porn stars, and eventually they got
engagements for porn stars.
Yeah,
like at Fortune 500 companies or what?
In-room autograph signing sessions.
I see, and if you want a private in-room autograph signing session, that's a little more expensive.
$1,000 for your autograph signing session in the room.
Sounds legit. Sounds legit.
And they got him like they got Al Capone, because apparently his taxes weren't so right. But that was a good business model.
Gotta pay your taxes. That's no matter what you're doing, pay the IRS. All right, so we got Diego and Ricardo Lamas. I'm not even gonna. You totally stopped on my Lorenzo Lamas ruining a woman's life story. But,
no, go ahead. I'm okay with it.
Well, so the one woman in there who wasn't a prostitute, but somehow got mixed up in the LA party girl scene, was a woman who was married in her late 20s, early 30s, had a small role in some production Lorenzo Lamas was involved with, and he became enamored of her and was so handsome and charming that she didn't want to do it, but basically got pulled into having this affair with him that destroyed her marriage. And it's like her husband was helpless to stop. I mean, in the face of Lorenzo Lamas, nobody could stop.
I'm sorry. She didn't want to take his penis and do things with it, and yet she did.
And she did. She couldn't resist. It's like which brings me back to an Earl Flynn story. There was a tale, I think, in his marvelous autobiography. Horrible person, but great read. Where Earl Flynn had some acquaintance in Hollywood who was going around fucking other people's wives and causing all this trouble. And Earl Flynn came up to him one day and said, "Buddy, cut the shit, or I'm gonna fuck your wife, your sister, and your daughter, and there's nothing anybody can do about it." And everybody said, "Whoa, Errol's right. If Errol wants a lady, she's."
Did the guy stop?
The guy cut the shit. Yes. At least according to Errol. So But anyway, apparently I'm just going on what I've read. I've never experienced this. But some dudes are so magnetic that the ladies can't resist.
I had some guy do this to me once. It's a moment that I'm not very proud of, I have to say. It was a youthful indiscretion. And then I hid in the bushes outside of his domicile at night, and then leapt out upon him at the right time and explained to him very seriously and as coherently as I could, given the circumstance. I go, in this life, David, you have your shit, and there is my shit. And as long as I don't confuse your shit for my shit, and you confuse my shit for your shit, we'll get along wonderfully.
I'm confused.
But the moment you confuse your shit for my shit, things go all crazy. I said, do you understand me? He said, yes, I understand.
So was he trying to cut in on your gun dealing business? Or
and so he goes, yes, I understand. And I stand up off of his chest where I had been sitting and take my hands from around his neck, and I say, good. And I helped him up, and I went about my day. Or my night, as the case was.
I see. So this guy was attempting to cuckold you, I'm presuming.
Yeah.
Well, my shit isn't a very gallant way to refer to your lady, Eugene.
I told you I was a young man. I was a young man then.
I see, young and foolish at the time. All right. So yeah, we'll see. So Lorenzo apparently didn't pay any mind to these markers, the wedding rings. And so once she had the affair with Lorenzo, then her marriage fell apart, even though her husband was basically like Dolly Parton in the Jolene song. He was like, hey, Lorenzo Lamas, I can't, it was like, I can't stop this. But it ruined her marriage, and then she became a party girl with Heidi Fleiss and the whole bit. So,
oh, that was a quick slide.
Yeah. One thing, baby steps. Apparently, there are a few wild weeks before Lorenzo lost interest. And
it was a great Biafra. I'm sure he wouldn't mind me telling the story. The singer of the Dead Kennedys was married to this woman at one point, and then he had a house guest, and the house guest was Frank Discussion from the Theaters. And
I would Donna Shalala this, but you've never named names in this story before. So go on.
They were spending a lot of time together, and Teresa was like, Biafra, he doesn't understand me. Frank was like, I know. Yeah, then she announced to Biafra that I'm leaving you for Frank Discussion. And he's like, oh my God, how could this happen? My best friend and my wife, she leaves. And then she goes off with Frank Discussion. And on her birthday, which was about 2 months later, Frank says, look, baby.
On her birthday.
Yeah, on her birthday. He goes, you knew this was all a joke anyway, right? And gives her the fucking boot, which, again, I only know because Biafra told me. It wasn't like I was there.
I always thought Jello was gay.
I don't think so.
Huh. Well, he had a girlfriend, so I mean, not that it matters, but
I've never known him to hold associations with anything but women, and we're talking about since 1980. So,
I did not know that. I just assumed. Anyway, all right.
Tomato Duplanty, who he ripped everything off from the Screamers, I believe, was gay.
I see. Well, that's just how it works in this heteronormative society. So,
I love. One thing I get that's great about being 53. I never would have told that story. Even 10 years ago, I wouldn't have told that story. But now I'm in that Mike Tyson zone. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I'll tell you everything. I don't give a shit. What are you going to – yeah, what are you going to do,
I mean, Jello's a pretty shot force at this point since he's been student at the ground by his bandmates and
I just saw
by a mob of Maximum Rock and Roll readers. I mean –
I saw Klaus about 3 weeks ago. I say that about anything. There are very few people who if a guy is standing very close between me and like $1 million, then I care. That guy I'm nice to, But.
Well, just don't forget where your checks come from every 15th of the month. So it's dozens of dollars. Dozens.
What's today? The 17th. 2 days ago, I checked. I haven't seen anything.
Well, check again and let me know if there's a problem. Let me know. All right. So we care about Ricardo Lamas and Diego Sanchez. I care about both these guys, although I don't really feel like either of them is going anywhere. But
they're not going anywhere. But that's not. I mean, you know what? I'm a fucking sentimental fool. I'm going to have to go with the religious lunatic. I'm picking Diego.
Even
though I don't think he's going to win, I got to do it.
I mean, I can't pick Diego. The last two fights he's won were split decisions over Ross Pearson and Takanori Gomi that he definitely didn't win the Gomi fight. And I can't even remember the Ross Pearson fight, but I remember I think I had that one for Pearson. And poor Diego, man, he's taken some vicious beatings in the past few years. And
that's kind of why I want to pick him, because I want him to win. I don't want him to.
Yeah, well, my fear is that even if he wins, it's going to be one of these 3-round slobber knockers with plenty of head trauma for everybody. So, which is why we love the sport. So it's a 6-6.
No, that's actually not why I love the sport.
It's not. It's not. You don't. I mean, come on. You don't turn off a 3-round slobber knocker.
No, but it's about the indomitability of the human spirit and willfulness and belief and athletic accomplishment. I mean, the reality of it is I'm not viscerally affected by the sight of blood, but when I think about the long-term effects of these guys shuffling around at the age of 42 trying to put shit together, I've not been happy the times I've seen Chris Lieben post his fight career. It's not.
No, I'm hearing bad things about Spencer Fisher too. So lots of ex-fighters mumbling around, and I don't want to see Diego that way, but I think the writing's on the wall for Diego, and this is what he wants to do. So what are you going to do? I'm picking Lamas, and I think it's going to be ugly. And now we come to the headliner. It's supposed to be Matt Brown versus Kelvin Gastelum. Instead, it's Neil Magny versus Kevin Gastelum. Magny coming off a loss against.
Matt Brown got hurt. What happened?
Yeah, hurt his ankle. So
he hurt his ankle chasing his BJJ coach.
Apparently so. Allegedly. Allegedly in there.
BJJ coach a beating. I understand how he feels. I think I need to throw my BJJ coach a beating. My BJJ coach's stand-up is terrible, but his grappling is great. So.
Well, there you go. So anyway, we've got Magny. He came back and got a split decision win over Eric Silva already since he lost to Demian Maia, but he had a 6 or 7 fight win streak before that. So anyway, back on the saddle, Magny, Gastelum. I'm pretty impressed with Gastelum. The kid is tough and fearsome.
The only time I've seen him fuck up is when he had this horrible weight cut, which he fucking missed.
You talking about the Tyron Woodley fight?
And so, but I'm gonna have to go again. I feel bad because I wanna, but then I picked Magny last fight, and Magny fucked me over the last fight, So
well, he won the Eric Silva fight.
But
the Demian Maia fight. You picked him over Maia?
Yes, I went crazy. So
you went crazy. It's a one-time thing. Like when you decided to get your federal firearms license and start dealing in
that was
weapons.
One of those things where I was like, they gave it to me. I was shocked. And all the people who were talking crap about Clinton know that this was under a Clinton administration.
I see. Well,
but it was a catastrophe. It's like when people tell me they're religious, I think they're pre-notifying me of their intent to fuck me over. And I have to say, the brotherhood of the gun, I never met a single guy, very few of the people who I sold to who were gun aficionados did anything other than try to fuck me over, man. The guys who had never owned, who wanted one for home security, friends of mine, those guys not at all fucked me over. They paid a decent price.
So you're saying the gun collectors tried to fuck you over?
Every fucking time.
Well, they're collectors. Notice the collector thing. You've dealt with record collectors, right?
No, I'm telling you. One guy said, tell you what, he bought $6,000 worth of guns from me. And I said, I'll tell you what you do. He goes, what about...
You were dealing that tens of thousands of dollars worth of guns.
And this guy's father had died. He came into a bunch of money, a couple $1 million. His name was Kevin. He said, I'm going to buy you. Here's my list. It came out to about $6,000. You know what
did you have all this inventory on hand, or this is stuff you ordered to resell?
That's not a question. What are you, a cop?
I'm just curious how this works. This whole gun dealing thing.
No,
my first window into the seedy world of gun dealing.
You find out what he wants and you order it. You order it wholesale. And I said, I'm going to waive my fee, which would be substantial on a $6,000 order. I'm not going to sell to you for retail. It's double wholesale. You typically double the price, right? So I'm gonna.
Why were you seized with this fit of generosity?
Because I said, he goes, well, what do you want for it? I tell you what, let's pay me in trade. Get me a nice gun. What you think is nice. And so his order comes in, exchange the cash. I had a storefront. He comes into the store and he takes off his order. And he brings me.
Was this the same storefront as your record store?
Yes. Record, tapes, T-shirts, videos, rehearsal studio, and gun shop. Yes, it was all in one.
Well, how did you not attract venture capitalists to pour into this obviously genius business venture?
And I had tattoos being given out front to kids whose parents would call me crying later. My son got a Grateful Dead tattoo at your shop. I was like, hey, he's under 18. I go, uh-oh.
You gotta check IDs, Eugene. Come on, that's Tattoo Artist 101.
A fake ID. What am I, a cop? I didn't have this. So so the guy gives me this nice box, and I was like, man, Kevin really hooked me up. He takes off driving down the street with his guns, and I open the box, and this is where we come full circle, because in the box is a check-made 9mm.
A $65 value.
Yeah, and the ammunition is made in fucking Egypt. And I'm trying to put a game face on it. You know, when you fire this ammo, you come back, the inside of your barrel is the dirtiest. It was like I was using it to garden with. And I was like, I can't believe this guy fucking played me. And he had the gall to ask me, hey, so did you like that? I go, hey, man, you fucked me. You know, he's like, well, man, I go, no, there's only one way to make this right, and I doubt you will make it right. And I never heard from him again.
Well, he got what he wanted, Eugene. That's as
now,
Courtney Love said.
This guy, Kevin, he's the only guy I knew whose girlfriend masturbated her dog. How do you like that? How do you like that for disgusting gaminess? That's
probably a criminal offense in 25 states.
Man, I'm still peeved about this.
So you're peeved because she masturbated her dog and not yours, or what?
I'm peeved about the $6,000 commission.
No, wait. It was a $6,000 sale, so the commission would have been what? $600, $1,200?
Yeah, I would have charged 15%. So.
Well, I mean, you played yourself, as Ice-T would say, Eugene. You played yourself.
Yep, yeah. That's why I am the animal guys like that created.
I see. It's his fault. Let's blame Kevin.
Let's blame Kevin.
All right, that damn Kevin. All right.
Kevin, if you're listening and think it's another Kevin I'm talking about the Kevin that drove the tan Cougar. That's the Kevin.
The tan Cougar. Nothing says class like a tan Cougar, Eugene.
1972 tan Cougar. Yep.
I mean, if you can't trust a guy who's driving a Cougar.
Hey, man, how do you like that I remember all these details?
Clearly.
When I say I'm a grudge holder, you got to know.
Yeah. I bet that dude could tell you what Lorenzo Lamas was driving to pick up his wife in front of his house. That's all right, so.
Or my buddy whose girlfriend got screwed by Prince.
His girlfriend got screwed by. See, I wouldn't even be mad if Prince wanted to move in on my lady.
We were all kind of like, didn't really believe it. She's going out with him tonight. It's on the Lower East Side when he was making Alphabet City. It's like, oh, you guys got to show up. We're going to kick his ass. And I had sort of mixed feelings about kicking Prince's ass, you know?
Because of the bodyguards alone, for one thing.
Yeah, well, the limo pulls up, and it was just like the fucking movies, man. She comes to the front door, and his name is John. He's standing there, and they're still kind of jawing at her. And the door opens, and the hand sticks out. Just like Prince's hand.
And the woman's just pulled in, like.
No, it's so you know, the tough guys start to kind of like come around the car, and then the driver's door opens, and Prince's bodyguard, who was like 6'6", 275, kind of walks around to help her get in the car, and then everybody's like.
Yeah, I mean, why fight? You can't fight City Hall. I mean, if Prince is,
you know, at that point, you know, Prince wasn't he wasn't trying to buy; he was just renting.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, it's Prince.
There were a couple celebrity hangarounds in it. Prince and Matt Dillon were two guys who hung around trying to hang out with the punk rock girls. In San Francisco, of course, it was Sean Penn.
Sean Penn, huh? See, now he's a bad apple. He's a slapper.
Sean Penn with his 38. Taped to his ankle. Yes, that's Sean Penn.
An extremely dangerous guy. Once disabled 2 burglars with a bottle of salad oil. So
really,
that's the story. That when the police came, he had the 2 burglars tied to a chair, and their faces and heads were bruised, and there was a salad oil bottle. Yeah,
that wasn't Madonna, because I know he did it to Madonna too, allegedly.
Allegedly. Well, she was there. It was their house together. So
okay, all right, good for him, man. Good for him. Yeah. He's got a gun now.
Well, maybe a couple. So anyway, the fight. Gastelum and Magny. I got to go with Gastelum just because Magny is so boring.
You got this thing with boring, man.
I don't like boring. Is that bad? Is that wrong?
Boring is, I mean, Carmont. I saw Carmont fight one boring fight, and then you're going to give the guy boring forever and ever.
He fought more than one boring fight, and he kept winning decisions in fights he lost, which is also not necessarily his fault, but I can't forgive him for it.
Yeah, but you know what? I tell you, something I started picking up on Knuckle Up, and I'm going to carry over to here. I don't know about you. I'm picking Gastelum. I don't know about you, but I am, and I probably say this every year, and I'm going to say it again. I am completely panicked about 2016. Outside of John Jones and maybe a Verdum fight,
Well, there's going to be the Holm Rousey rematch for UFC 200.
that's pointless.
Well, it's pointless, but it's going to be big business, and that's why I'm here.
If it's this time next year, not so pointless.
It'll be July, I believe.
So Holly's got to fight at least one time before then.
I don't think so. I mean, maybe not, but I don't think so. But
okay.
There's going to be – we've got McGregor Aldo next month, which is going to be huge.
That's still 2015. I
know. And it could go in such a direction that leaves us with nothing.
Yeah, I like the chimp chill out that the bald one has pulled on McGregor, man. Yeah, you want to know how to lose friends? Ask for $100 million. Hey, you have no friends after you've asked. I would stop talking to you. You asked me for $100 million. That's a good way to get you.
Can I have $100 million?
See you later, buddy. No fucking way. You know, even if I had it, you're not getting it from me. So
yeah, what are you going to do? But so we got Aldo McGregor to look forward to, but that's this year, admittedly. Then with the opening of the year with Lawler Condit, and that's about all I know of that's booked for sure.
Yeah, I care about that, but that's because I'm
It's not big business. The welterweight division is not big business, no matter how much fun it is for the hardcores.
Yeah.
John Jones coming back, that's big business.
Okay.
Holm Rousey is big business, and you're right. Otherwise, we got
something Verdum, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, they're bringing Kane in against Verdum again. So
well, he should. He works better from the come up, and I think Kane has
and at low altitude.
Yeah, the altitude. But I mean, they're not going to do that again. So I think I would feel perfectly comfortable picking Kane, friend to knuckle up or no friend to knuckle up. But you're talking with Verdum, a guy who's got a very high fucking fight IQ.
And he dismantled Kane on the feet last time.
Yeah, but that had to do with fatigue, man. That wasn't.
Some of it did, some of it didn't. Some of it just had to do with striking styles. Verdum's much better at range, and Kane doesn't want to take him to the ground. Everybody else is terrified Kane's going to take him to the ground, which opens up all kinds of strikes for him. But Verdum's like, yeah, take me to the ground. I'd love it.
Yep.
I'd love it. I'll make you tap so fast. And so
maybe. Maybe Kane should be spending time with Dave Camarillo,
Well, I know that band broke up, Eugene. That band broke up. But anyway, back to Gastelum, Magny. So you're picking Gastelum, and that's that.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm picking Gastelum out of wishful thinking, but I feel like
I mean, like I didn't see Holly winning to Ronda or Ronda losing to. I just don't. I'm having a hard time seeing Gastelum lose to fucking Magny. I can't see that he would allow himself to do this.
Here's how I see he could lose. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm just postulating it out. Gastelum charges. He's the bull. Magny is very patient, and Magny can tie him up standing, get him into a lot of clinches, maybe get him down, hold him down, just turn it into a long, slow war of attrition and win. I mean, that's how Magny wins. Gastelum, basically, because he prevents Gastelum from winning. So anyway, there it is. So I wish it was Matt Brown and Kelvin Gastelum now. That would be fun.
That would be fun.
But Neil Magny, not Matt Brown. So what are you going to do? All right, so that's our show. Anything else to add, Eugene?
I don't think so. I got the tote sheet. I'm ready.
All right. And now we know all about your time as a federal firearms dealer. So
license, yeah. And when actually a South by Southwest story. Anytime I tour in the States, I'm typically armed because we're in the States. You got to drive around. You don't know. You got
can you go to D.C. though, or someplace, a jurisdiction that has strict gun control? You can't be bringing your gun into D.C.
What? This is a gray zone. For what? For ownership or for sale?
Ah, I see.
So when we drove to South by Southwest, and because of work, I had to fly back. So anytime we drive in America, I'm usually armed. And so flying back, I said to the band, hey, I'm going to leave my firearm in the van. They're like, oh, no, fucking leave it. I go, okay, God damn you guys, fuck you. Okay, I'll take it with me. So I got to take it with me on the plane. Right?
So you can unload it and put it in your luggage, right, and tell them you've got it, and that's that.
Yeah, so I'm online. I'm wearing a suit like I do when I travel all the time, and I get to the front of the line. I'm doing the check-in at the counter, and
black guy in a suit with a gun, drug dealer. Oh,
No, not at all. Wise guy. She goes, I say, excuse me, I'd like to pre-notify you of the fact that I've got a firearm. She goes, are you on the job? And I was like, I haven't signed an affidavit, so why not say yes?
On the job. All right.
And I said, well, yes, I have an FFL. And she didn't know. It's a nice acronym, right? She didn't know. And all of a sudden, I was treated like James Bond. Like they bring out a special box. They put it in the box. They take me to the front of the line. I get to go. I get all kinds. I mean, usually when the Nazis talked about special handling, special handling is not a very good thing in a Nazi context. In this context, I got to the front of the line. I got on the plane. I got first. I was like, fuck, this is fucking great. I got to travel with a gun all the time. And then I realized with slow dawning horror as the stewardesses and the flight attendants looked at me and nodded that they expected that if some shit popped off, that I was going to jump up and James Bond our way out.
A federal marshal.
And I was like, get the fuck out. I'm not helping anybody but me. What are you doing with the only parachute? I'm going to get help.
Good plan.
You guys can go fuck yourselves. What is this, a text from you? What are you texting me for?
I texted you hours ago. If it's coming through, that's a
Verizon
Verizon
coming through right now. It's very slow. Okay.
Yeah.
So I got back to the States from Texas to San Francisco with my firearm intact.
Well, good to know. And the band didn't have to be terrorized by your weapons.
And lucky for them, they didn't need it.
Like, what were they going to do if they did need it? That gun wasn't going to help them.
I'm not the only gun lover in Oxbow.
Oh, you're not? I see.
Nope.
Are you gonna out your bandmate?
No. Why would I do this? Because I want a question mark in the minds of potential marauders. You don't know.
I see. I see. So if they come after you like they came for Dimebag Darrell. Yeah.
Hey man. You ever see Oxbow play and you see me come on stage with either a briefcase or a backpack? I do it every time. The briefcase or the backpack. Albini saw us play at the Beyond the Pale. He was like, man, and he wrote a review of it. He goes, yeah, he came on stage looking like a businessman, which I guess is what he is. And I came on with the briefcase and put my briefcase down and started the show because I don't trust anybody. I'm going to put my briefcase in the green room? Fuck no. Where I'm going to leave it? Where? With our gear off the side? By the sound booth? No. Comes on stage with me, So that's all I need to say about that.
I see. Well, that's a lovely tale. A lovely tale, Eugene. So many touching stories today. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube.
Charlie Sheen, HIV. We didn't touch on that, but okay.
That's for next week. Yeah. If I did it, that has if I did it written all over it. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. The one thing I will say is if the National Enquirer reports it, it's probably true. That's
that right. People don't know that.
But that's one thing I learned. Yep. PR and public affairs. I once laughed when somebody said the National Enquirer is on the tail of our client, and my boss just smacked me around in front of everybody, I learned to respect. Anyway, so that's our show. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to MMANation.com on YouTube. Subscribe to MMA Nation on iTunes. Eugene's showing you how to give us a thumbs up. Follow us on Twitter at KidNate, at Eugene S. Robinson. You can read Eugene at Aussie.com, sometimes Vices Fightland. You can read me at Bloody Elbow when I deign to write.
All right, I did the piece for The Quietist recently, a British online publication.
And what was the subject?
Fight scenes in movies.
I saw that article. Yes, I didn't notice it wasn't Aussie, but you're out there moonlighting, huh?
Hey, man. I'm
just asking.
I'm not moonlighting. I did a favor for a friend.
Oh, okay. Favor. Cool. All right. As long as there's favor for a friend.
Don't owes me money for that favor.
I see. Well, it hopefully goes better than your forays into gun dealing. But anyway, well, that's our show. So adios, MMA aficionados. We'll have an MMA Vivid section for this Thursday.
About money.
Your check's in the mail. It's direct deposit, my friend. So the gang will have the MMA Vivid section for this one on Thursday. Zane will have the prospectus on Friday. We'll have 6th round on Saturday. Eugene will be back with Knuckle Up on Sunday. Next week we'll have If I Did It. Sliding right on in to UFC Seoul after that as Thanksgiving week proceeds. So anyway, adios MMA aficionados. We'll see you next time.
All right, man. Be careful.
You too.